Alright everybody, in this video what I want to do is go through using the KTAG clone. It's not the original KTAG. I don't have $20,000 for one, but I did have $150 for a KTAG clone, and I thought, you want to know what, I'm going to buy it, play with it a little bit, see if I like it. I purchased this one roughly a couple months ago. The reason I purchased it is because I had a client that called me about a Mini. Now, what ended up happening with the Mini is that diagnosed it to having a cylinder 2 misfire, and from there diagnosed it that the ECM was bad. So called around, the dealer wanted $2,500 for an ECM plus roughly about $1,500 for programming it. And I spoke with the client. I'm like, if you give me a couple of weeks, I'll order up a tool and I'll take it. I'll clone this one and get you a used one for $200 plus the price of the tool plus price of my programming fees. So it ended up costing the client a lot less, just put it that way. And from there, I'm kind of hooked on the tool, honestly. I find it works great. I also purchased the KES clone. The KES clone is up to version 2.9 right now. Haven't really tried that one out yet. I'm a little bit iffy because I read a lot of mixed reviews, but then I started to realize that you can have high quality clones and low quality clones of these tools. So depending on which one you get, well, it might work well or it might not. So from there, we're gonna get started with this video. This is a Kia, a 2015 Hyundai Accent ECU. This one has an ECU number of 17.9.8. MEDG 17.9.8. So I'm not going to talk too much more about this. We're going to get into it. We're going to read it. I know that it already reads it because I've already read the information off of the ECU once. But we're going to read it again with you guys on camera, and then from there we're going to go in and we are going to attempt to change the VIN on this ECU. Why? Because I need to put this ECU onto another vehicle where the PCM is completely shot. Something happened with a driver, and then somebody tried to fix it and they completely messed it up. I tried reading all the information off the ECU and I am unable to. So without going too much more into detail than that, let's get started with reading the ECU with the KTAG and let's take it from there. Alright, so I'm going to keep you guys on screen just for a couple more minutes. I'm going to show you guys what needs to be done first, okay? So the first thing that we need to do is hook up our power supply. Alright, I have mine hooked up to a power supply, and I have it set to 12.6, 13 volts, somewhere around there. After that, we're going to have to hook this guy up to the KTAG itself, so which means we need our communication to our computer. So we're going to take and we're going to hook up our communication for our computer. I don't want to break anything, give me a second. Alright, so now I am hooked up for the communication to the computer. Alright, I'm going to turn off the power supply after, it's just to power it up. Okay, now from there, what we have to do at this point is take and open up KTAG. Now, where did I put it? Here it is. Alright. So, from here, we're going to end up loading up the KTAG device. I'm using KTAG 2.25. I could update the families to 2.7 for the KTAG. And then, after that, you can update to 2.8 for the KES, and you can also update to 2.9 for the KES also. Alright, so with all that being said, now what we have to do is that since we're doing a vehicle, we're going to click on the vehicle icon. Alright, don't ask me which protocols that it uses to 100% because I don't know. Okay, not that I don't want to tell you, but I just really don't know. Okay, so from there, what we're going to be doing is going on to the Bosch MED 17.9.8, which is, I know it's supposed to be for a Hyundai. I am going to use it for a Kia. It's the exact same protocol, okay? Now, this ECU is I wouldn't say special, but it does have a password protection onto it. So you have to choose the proper one in order to, be able to bypass the password if you want, or break the password, okay? Now what you're going to get after you click on the model of ECU that you have is you're going to end up getting a screen. Now you're going to scroll all the way down and connect to the ECU according to the pinout provided by each model. So we're going to click here. Now, I have the ECU open already. So what I'm going to be doing is clicking on the plugin 550, the MEDG 17.9.8, because that is what is written on the ECU. All right. This is a Tricore 1767, and the TP rot, or however you want to call it. Like I said, this is in my my language, so I don't know how to pronounce this stuff properly. Is basically password protected. All right. Now, we're going to click on this one. Now from there, it's going to show you a picture of the ECU. Kefco and Bosch are pretty much the exact same thing. Or they use the same PCMs if you want. The one that I have is a Bosch, but it still has the MEDG 17.9.8, so I can use this one. All right. Now if we scroll down, it's going to show you another image. Now this image right here is where basically all your connections are going to be. I also have the mini ECU that I'll probably plug up real quick for everybody, just so you can see, depending on the ECU, sometimes it's really quick, sometimes it's not, for hooking it up and being able to read and write. Okay, so they show you this little picture. Now what we have to do is we have to come up here, and the only type of connections available for this one, as you can see right here, is going to be direct connection. So we click on direct connection. They're gonna, if you don't know your wire colors, you just click on the cable, and the cable is gonna end up telling you what cable to use and what the power, each and every little pin onto it is. All right. So after that, we're just gonna click on back. Okay. So now we are going to click on here again. We'll click on this again so I can get my install instructions. All right. So and then we'll go direct connection. Now from there, they show you where you have to hook up. All right. Now if we see here, I have to hook up on the one pin over here, and then I have to hook up on this pin here, this pin, and this pin. All right. And on top of that, I also have to hook up onto the connector side in order to get my CAN high, CAN low, and power up the unit. All right. I already have all this area already set up. I'm going to just set up the other area with you guys on camera. Okay. So after that, we're going to end up pressing OK. Now, I'm going to turn off the power supply because I don't need the power supply on for this. I actually didn't need it on at all up to for this point, but that's okay. All right, so let me turn my camera back on real quick. Okay, so I'm just going to I'll zoom everybody in a little bit. Okay, it's not going to be the best picture, but it's going to be better than nothing. All right. So from there, this is a little BDM frame that I bought off China also. All right, it's not the best, but for what I need it for, it's perfect. Okay, this little BDM frame came with 4 ECU connectors, or probes if you want. Okay, oh, you're not even on camera. It came with 4 little ECU probes, 2 black and 2 red. I need 3 for my boot pins. So I'll use those 3, and I need 1 for my CNF1. Okay? So my CNF1 is going to be over here. I always try to come in at an angle for this one. Okay? Now the thing with this also is that when you are connecting it, I'll actually show. Okay? It is spring loaded. Okay? So if we come here, we see that it's spring loaded. Okay? So when we're putting it on, we want to take them when we compress that spring just to give it a little bit of tension, all right? So that's my CNF1. Now from there, I have to come all the way over here. I might have to move yeah, or I'll just come on this side. That should work. And then we'll connect to this one. All right. That's going to be my first boot. Then after that, I have my second boot that's right here. I've done this a couple times already. Just playing around with stuff, okay? You want to get good at something, you got to practice. Alright, so now I have all 3 boots on there. I also have, well, if you guys can't see, I'll just back up a little bit. Alright, I also have all the wiring that's already hooked up, okay? So everything, all the pins are already hooked up. So now, what I'm going to do is just take these 3 right here. I'm going to connect them together. Alright, and I'm going to get my boot wire, which is always going to be the gray one. So we're going to take, and we've got to make sure that all 3 of these are connected. Okay? Should have pause my screen recorder. Anyway, it's okay. Alright, so we'll put this guy back on. Alright, so now, this one's not really connected. Let's see if we can get that a little bit better than that. We can't have any loose connections on this. We have a loose connection, it could lose connection, and then we have to start all over again. It doesn't take a super long time, but that also depends on how much information is actually on the chip. Because this one will read your MCU and your EEPROM, and it will make a backup depending on the model of ECU that you are using. So you can actually read all your maps, and then you take this and you send this out in order to do whatever you want to do to your maps. Okay? I don't do that. Do not ask me to. It's not a service that I provide. So from there, I have everything set up. Now we're going to switch back over to the computer, and we're going to continue from there. All right. All right. So now we're back at the PC. So what we're going to do now at this point, since everything is connected, the last thing that I have to do is just turn on my power supply. I don't know if you guys heard that. I hope you did. Okay. And we are just going to press OK at this point. Now, at this screen right here, what we have to do is we have to pick our proper TP-ROT. Let's just use what the letters. Let's just use the letters that are on the screen. And we're going to pick that one. We are going to pick that one, and then we are going to press OK. Now, you could double click. Double clicking will also bring you in. And from here, you can do two things. You can make a full backup, all right, which is going to read the micro and the EEPROM. I like to do the backup. Why? Because you never know when something's going to go bad, and if something does go bad, you can always take and re-put the original file back in. All right. So now all I'm going to do is press read. I'm going to bring everybody through the steps. Okay. I'm probably going to fast forward through this part, and the only reason is because this could take up to 5 to 10 minutes sometimes. All right. So I'll keep it on screen, but I'm going to fast forward through it. Alright, so at this point, it is done reading the microprocessor, and what we are going to be doing is taking and reading the EEPROM. The EEPROM does not take long whatsoever. Then now it's going to make the file for you to save. Now it's going to ask you to do one of two things. Either you can save everything together, or you can save everything as separate files. Me personally, I like to save everything together, and then I reread, and then I save everything as a separate file, so I can actually just choose my EEPROM. So that way it gives me two boot files if you want. So one's going to be the complete, and then the other one I can play around with. Alright? So this is what it's going to come up on screen. So what we can take and do is just save this as it is now. Alright? I already have this saved, so I'm not going to. So now here comes the other part that we need. We're going to exit because, as I said, I already have all this. So we're going to press cancel now because we don't need the KTAG anymore.